No matter what, people will commit to misunderstanding you. What's most important is your commitment to understanding yourself. Hello, you guys. My name is Nkirk Madani, known as NK, and welcome back to Misunderstood. You're starting over. This is the hardest episode so far to record. And if you are listening to this episode right now, that means I did end up posting it. I was going back and forth, but I realized that it's important to highlight when things aren't going very well as a teaching moment, as encouragement to other people. I have no idea when this episode is going live, so just keep that in mind with timing. This could be in a month from now, 2 months from now, but this is how I'm feeling right now. This is the situation right now. I'm scared. I don't know what my path looks like for my career right now. I had a oh shit realization yesterday where I realized that I'm barely breaking even with my expenses, running a business, being a content creator, trying to survive in New York City. If you're new here and if you don't know my backstory, I do have an episode about the entire story, but I will summarize it right now by saying I have been working as a full-time content creator for the past 4 years. I have not had a corporate job since October 2020. My life for the past 4+ years has looked pretty different than most. I've had the amazing opportunities to travel the world, to inspire others, and to prove to myself that I can do it. But lately, and when I say lately, in the last 3-4 months, I have been getting increasingly more worried about the sustainability, especially in New York. I've been living in New York for 2 years now. I'm actually right at 2 years, and I feel so emotionally exhausted trying to do this all on my own. Pay my rent, pay my utilities, pay my clients. No boyfriend, no family who gives or provides me anything monetarily, no other support. It's just me, and it has been just me for 4 years. I felt like I needed to prove something to myself. I was so unhappy in corporate. I felt like I was living every single day and it didn't feel true to me. So when I left, that felt right. I got laid off, and I did explain this in a previous episode. But once I parted ways with that life, I felt like in a strange way, it gave me the permission to live the life that I currently live. What I will say is that I've never been more happy in my life in these past 4 years. The strides I've made, the people I've met, the opportunities I've been so thankful to receive. I would never trade anything in the world for what I've been able to do. But I'm sitting here right now on the floor of my apartment, recording this in real time, going through a situation that feels so scary. I haven't felt like this since I was 26 years old when I got laid off. And I was so scared and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where my path was going to go. And the fact that I feel like that same person makes me so sad. It almost makes it feel like the past 4 years didn't happen. The hardest feeling for me to embrace is the feeling of failure, is the feeling of letting myself down, because I've worked so hard to walk away from that mentality. I know a lot of people will probably misunderstand me here, so let me just set the record straight. There's nothing wrong with corporate. I just had a negative experience, and by going back into corporate right now, that would make me feel like I'm giving up on myself and I'm giving up on my dreams because I haven't had a positive corporate experience to compare anything to. So I am scarred. I'm emotionally traumatized. I don't want to lose the spark I have, but in a realistic POV right now, I need to supplement my income with something else other than what I'm doing to be able to continue to live in New York, to be able to continue to fight for my dreams. And that is scary. It's unsettling for me because I have worked my ass off to get here. Quite literally to get here. And I cannot see a world in which I throw that all away just for money. And I get it. We all know money does make the world go round. Money does pay our bills. Money does provide us most things in life. But these past 4 years have quite literally showed me that money isn't everything. I would rather be living a life that I feel really inspired by. I would rather be living a life that is fully aligned in my purpose. And that's not everyone's truth, but that damn well is mine. I've never shined brighter or worked harder than I have in the past 4 years to cultivate a community and ecosystem that makes me feel whole, makes me feel like I have a will to live every single day. Moments like these makes me feel like running away. I think about it all the time. As much as I love the city, it scares the shit out of me every single day. And I am so confused every single day that I'm even able to live here. I feel like an imposter sometimes, and moments like this makes me believe it. The negative part of my brain is trying to yell at me right now and say, you couldn't cut it. This is the big leagues. You can't do this. My New York City rent is more than the mortgage of my childhood home. I recently learned what the mortgage amount is for my childhood home, and I was shocked. I was thinking, well, should I just go home? Should I just leave New York? Leave this life behind? I also looked on LinkedIn for hours last night, trying to grapple with next steps, trying to grapple with what I should do. I'm a creative person. I'm an extremely creative person who thrives in creative environments, who thrives in spaces that I can be an individualist. Everyone's brain is programmed differently, and that's how mine is programmed. And I would be doing a disservice to myself if I did anything other than what I'm good at. Obviously, we know the job market right now is horrendous, and that further adds to the immense anxiety I'm facing. I'm trying to stay hopeful. I'm trying to look at every single avenue that I have in my disposal and out of my disposal to make it work. But I would be lying if I said that this process of making it work is not tearing me up inside. It makes me sick to my stomach because it feels like I'm fighting so hard when this shit comes easy to a lot of people. And it makes me so sad. I have so many skills. I have so much experience under my belt in what I do, and I'm good at what I do. I know I am. I've also inspired probably thousands and thousands of people at this point. After almost 5 years of being a creator, I've inspired so many people and touched so many lives, and hearing people tell me that means the world. And it makes me feel like I am not good enough or I don't cut it. However, there's so many spaces where it feels like gymnastics to get validation from other people and to be uplifted in certain areas in my job. I think that is something that I need to address as well. As a dark-skinned Black woman, it has felt like the hurdles have been higher and harder because quite literally it has been over the years. The fact that in 2022 I made over 6 figures as a content creator is such a powerful thing to have accomplished. It is my biggest accomplishment thus far in my life, and I'm very proud of it. When I think back to that year, it makes me proud of that, but then it also makes me think, well, if I could do it then, why can't I do it again? But that's the thing, you can do it again, and I understand that. You are allowed more successes in your life. You are allowed more wins. And even though right now feels extremely unsettling and extremely scary, I do believe deep down that I will win like that again. I just have to get through this really uncomfortable period of life. I think back to 2021, the end of 2021, where I literally was so broke that I could barely pay my January 22 rent. I will never forget that. I will never forget how scared I was, but how I turned it around and ended up making 6 figures in that very year. I don't know if I am supposed to hit rock bottom right now to level up again. Maybe history will repeat itself, and I'm very curious to see how this plays out. But like I said, I'm quite literally in it right now. As I'm recording this, this is the peak of what is happening. Nothing is figured out. But when you're listening to this, let's hope for the best. Let's hope that I am in a better situation We'll see. We'll see together, quite literally. There's something to be said for the people who do this on their own. And let's be clear, most of it is not by choice. When I look on social media, it makes me happy for the people who have that type of support system, who have the boyfriend or the husband or the family who helps provide for them, creators who have the privilege to live at home. There's so many scenarios in which it allows the creator to thrive a little easier. We have to add that to the conversation. That is true. I would love that type of support right now, but I don't have it. And I've gotten really used to that in the last 4 years of picking myself up every time I've fallen and trudging on. I'm so used to it. I hate that in situations like these, I don't want to tell anybody. I want to just deal with it on my own. One, because I don't like burdening people, but two, it's almost a pride thing. I don't want to be viewed as the girl who did it and then couldn't. And those are my words, but let's be honest, somebody will think that. And what I say to that is there's so much more to the goddamn story. I think there is a lot to be said about my bravery over these past 4 years, working extremely hard to provide this type of life for myself. I don't want to discount that, but in order for me to keep my mental health in check, I need things to be different. I need a little more stability, at least right now, while I'm still working towards my goals, because that's what I want to get back to. Although I feel like I'm starting over in my own way, many people who look at me might not think that. That's completely fine, but this is how I'm viewing myself, and I'm trying to understand myself more and more every day and how I can improve on my mindset. And what I can say right now is that although I personally feel like I'm starting over, I'm starting at ground zero again, that's an opportunity for me to rewrite my story again. The story is my own, and I control the narrative. Another thing I will say is that even if I have to supplement my income in other ways in this time period, it will be in this time period. It will be temporary because I will not give up on myself. I can't. I've come too fucking far. I can't give up on myself. The path to get there, I don't know what it's going to look like, but I can't give up. Because if I do, then that will mean that these past 4 years did not happen. And I can't let that be my story. The negative part of my brain wants to get down on myself right now. It wants to say, you're 30 years old and you have nothing to show for it. You're 30 years old and you are in the exact same place that you were when you were in your mid-20s. But the positive, optimistic side of me wants to believe that I'm 30 years old and I tried something new and different and I saw it through. I made a lot of achievements along the way and we're just getting ready for the next one. We're just loading up for the next win, the next achievement, the next milestone. Because I am allowed more than one success story. I am allowed more than one opportunity to succeed. Me at 26 was incredible. I will have something like that happen again because I've done it once and there's proof. If anyone who's listening to this feels stuck, no matter how old you are, because it has nothing to do with age, you can pivot. You can do new things. You can try something new. If it doesn't work out, so what? Try something else or try that same thing again. That is what I had to do to get here, quite literally. And even though right now I feel very scared and unsure, that is exactly how I felt right before I did the biggest career accomplishment I've ever done. So maybe, just maybe, my life is quite literally gearing me up for the biggest thing I have ever accomplished in my life. And what's cool about that is I get to share that with you guys right now before it happens. You get to see this very real, raw side of me. And if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know that this is the truest, rawest form of me. I get on this mic and I say whatever the fuck I want unapologetically to hopefully inspire other people to do the same. And this has been one of the most liberating parts of my job so far. Although this is the newest edition of my job, this feels the most aligned with me out of everything I do. And I go back to stepping in my purpose every day. Even though I am scared as shit right now, I decided to sit, turn on the mic, and start talking. Because at the end of the day, I'm not doing the things that fully ignite me and fully inspiring me, then I'm not in my purpose anymore. As I navigate this tumultuous time of my life, I want a few things to be true. I want to remain as grounded as possible. I want to continue to be the fighter that I know I am. And I want to continue to speak very honestly and very authentically about all of my experiences so that we can start dispelling stereotypes, dispelling misunderstandings about how life really works, about how careers really work. Because let's be very clear, I literally was sitting at an accounting firm in an office for 12 hours a day 5 years ago. And now I'm here. So you can do anything you want. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't. Don't let anyone try to limit your potential or your trajectory. Do not let anybody write your goddamn story. That is for you to write. You're the author of your book of life. And with that, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Misunderstood. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love for you to rate the podcast and follow it on Spotify. Feel free to leave a comment as well. Come hang out with me on my other socials. It's NK Madani on TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, and Instagram. And I will talk to you guys in my next one.